Let me tell you about our newest partner, Mint Mobile. With Mint Mobile, you can drop your expensive cell phone plan without having to sacrifice coverage, speed, or data. They're able to provide such an amazing offer by cutting out the middleman and selling to you directly online. Plans start for as little as $15 a month. $15 a month, guys. That is so unbelievably cheap. And making the switch is incredibly easy. Keep your current phone and phone number and activate your plan in minutes. Remember to support those who help us. Just go to trymintmobile.com/thoseguys to get started. That's trymintmobile.com/thoseguys.
Those guys.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you, what days do the trash go out? Because I got to put those out.
Maybe not the right time for that.
You hate.
Sunday night and Wednesday night.
Thank you.
Those guys you hate.
And we are back once again. Ryan, thank you for staying.
Howdy, howdy.
Ryan, the Ford car company. You heard of it?
I've heard of it.
They wanted to get a foothold in Belgium.
Okay, Belgium.
Yep.
Where French fries were first made?
I actually believe that's true, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it cheeseburgers?
No, well, I don't know about cheeseburgers, but I think that is French fries. Or you could go for the joke, French fries were first made in Greece, but...
Back to our topic at hand.
You just let me talk for too long sometimes.
I just stared at you, bewildered.
I know. It felt bad, but I also totally understood.
I thought you were going to do your geography thing again, where you try to guess where it was, and then we both get it completely wrong.
Near Germany?
I'm sure. I don't want to do this with you.
Agreed.
Now, the slogan they chose was, every car has a high-quality body.
Every car has a high-quality body. Okay, a bit wordy for my taste.
A bit wordy.
That's fine.
In Belgium, Ford Car Company, what do you think, your best guess as to what the issue was?
Say the tagline one more time.
Every car has a high-quality body.
I believe that lost in transition here would be something that had to do with a corpse, maybe...
Whoa, Ryan, you got it. Ding, ding, ding.
Did I?
The issue
I'm so smart.
When translated to Dutch, it came out to every car has a high quality corpse. Which does that come standard, or do I got to pay extra for that?
Sure. It's next to the spare tire. You might want to get that out of there before summer picks up.
It was apparently very embarrassing that this company had totally missed the mark on that.
Yeah, Ford. We need to kind of hire somebody from the country that we're going to.
Have somebody who speaks Dutch maybe come in and tell you.
Love Dutch.
Ryan, as shameful as that was for Ford, I'd like you to come in and give us a shameful admission about yourself.
Well said.
Shameful admissions.
All right, Tyler, do you have any apps or do you have anything on your phone that you would say, I'm a little bit ashamed of this?
I feel like Candy Crush brings that out of me a little bit. I can't let anybody see that I'm playing this incredibly colorful game on my phone.
I am totally with you on that. I don't want people to see me playing video games on my phone. I'm not sure what that's all about. But I have on my phone, and there is some shame genuinely behind this, the pattern. Okay? It is an astrology app. What's your take on astrology? I know we've touched on this before.
It's much like auras. Like, it's something that I can't say is false. I can't prove that it doesn't exist, but at the same time, I'm hesitant to believe how integral it is to our behavior and our mood. And
I'm more of an integral guy, but I understand where you're coming from.
More on that later.
Well, the fact that you're still saying it that way is not good for me. The idea is that we were just talking about it, this idea of not knowing what the world actually has to offer and what is real and what isn't real. It's possible, but it doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. But I find it to be interesting. Not unlike 111, it's just these little things in my life that make me feel good. So I have an app that talks about astrology and a lot of that stuff. Mm-hmm. They sent me an update the other day, and it said, you have the ability to just dive in and merge with your surroundings, which can help you live in the present moment. Just remember to retain some objectivity so you don't completely lose touch with reality.
Okay. I mean, that's good advice. Even if you don't believe in astrology, that's decent advice.
If my astrology app is checking in on me to make sure that I am not going crazy, then we are in a seriously bad place. That's like that joke we heard at the stand-up show we went to where the pizza place delivers you an uncut pizza because they know you're just going to eat it by yourself. You're in a bad fucking place if your astrology app is like, hey, you doing okay over there? I'm worried about you. I don't know.
Yeah, well, your phone's always listening to you, and it can hear the conversations you're having with yourself.
And it knows Uranus is way out of proportion right now.
A butthole joke.
And that is my shameful admission.
A butthole joke is the way we're ending
I'm
that.
being checked in on by somebody from the insane asylum, and it's shameful. And I've admitted it. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
It's just a butthole joke as well.
It's like, hey, listen, your moon is in Capricorn, but call somebody. How's your mom doing? She misses you.
All right, Ryan, let's move on to... Yes, you've got mail. Ryan,
Fuck yeah, you do.
tell them what you've got mail is.
This is an audio medium, but every now and then we need to shoot a picture back and forth. We record it, our reactions, we put it on social media. Drew've got mail.
Very well said. Now, Ryan, mixed martial arts or the Ultimate Fighting Championship. What do you know of it?
It is something that has been around, I would imagine, like as long as, humans have existed, there's been some sort of fighting competition. UFC has been around since I was a little kid, and it has grown into a massive sport. I would say the biggest growing of a sports in my lifetime, I would guess.
Yeah, that or cricket. And once you get that Disney money behind you, the sky's the limit,
You're talking about Jiminy Cricket, or I'm confused? So I tied the two things together.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cricket in India, kind of big these days.
There's barely any people over there. Interesting topic. I want to look that up for a weekend review. The biggest growth of sports in X amount of time.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, there are 8 different weight classes in the UFC. And they have to be within like a dozen pounds of each other.
Okay.
So if you're
so every 12 pounds, there's a new.
Yeah, and don't quote me on that. I'm just saying that it's a pretty slim margin for error when it comes to the weight classes. You're never going to see a 150-pound guy fighting a 200-pound guy. Like that does not happen.
You have lack of reach in somebody's instance. It's not a fair fight.
For sure. Yeah. And no matter what kind of technique you have and how good you are, even if the guy across from you has average technique but weighs 60 pounds more than you do, all they have to do is pick you up and throw you around.
Stands to reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard to hurt somebody that much bigger than you.
Very much so. Or you could flip it around and say they're going to crush your skull. The bigger guy is going to crush your skull.
Exactly. It's the reason why men are not supposed to hit women. It's a different weight class.
Well, there is a new fight promotion titled World... Before you play it.
I'm scared to look at this.
No, it's fun. It's fun. I promise. It's not it's not gory or anything like that. It's a new fight promotion titled World Freak Fight League.
Yeah, people are trying to challenge the UFC.
Sure.
Dana White, the president,
The bully, yeah.
seems like kind of a shitty man.
I agree.
Yep.
Well, Eddie Hall, who was 2017's world's strongest man.
Okay.
The strongest man in the entire world in 2017.
Sure.
He went up against brothers Jamil and Jamel Nafati. Hall in this video
Wait,
is
2 people?
2 people. It's 1 on 2. Just to give you some dynamics here, Hall is 6'2", 350 pounds.
Wow, that's a big boy.
The brothers are 5'3",
I don't think you're allowed to call him that.
145 pounds each. So
Wow.
even together, they don't weigh as much as Eddie Hall.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is crazy.
Yeah. Now, go ahead and start the video.
I don't want to see this. Okay, oh, dude, this is terrible. He's just shaking them off of him like a dad would to his kids. Wait, I got to watch that again.
Yeah,
Hold on.
it's a quick video.
Oh! Ow! Whose plan was this? This is terrible.
I told you it's the World Freak Fight League.
Okay, well, they warned us up front. One of their man, they look so tiny.
Tiny compared to this guy.
They're just grabbing his thigh and pushing with all of their might, and he just brings a hammer fist down on their spine, which renders them useless. Another one takes a punch to the side and folds like a
Just
chair.
drops. My favorite part of that entire clip is how
when it's over.
He picks up in the very beginning one of the brothers and slams him down, much like what you said, a child trying to fight your father, and you're like wrestling around on the bed and you throw them into the pillows to make sure they don't get hurt. This dude throws this fully grown man to the floor.
Not fully grown.
Dude, I mean, well, 5'3", that's okay. Fair enough. That's a bit short. But 145 pounds is still a decent weight for a human being. And this guy,
I guess so.
And this guy picked him up at like it was a rag doll.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that guy's the strongest man in the world,
That's
Tyler.
fair. That's
Literally.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And as you said, one of the brothers had his both arms wrapped around this dude's thigh, and the guy is just pounding on his spine.
And I saw on the bottom, it said round 3 of 3.
Yeah.
There was 2 other rounds of this?
Yes.
Somebody needs to step in here. This is terrible. You guys are freaks.
World Freak Fight League. I don't know if you're going to go anywhere, but at least you brought us this magic.
Somebody needs to revoke that business application.
Let's go to break.
I know everyone says this, but I am genuinely excited to tell you about our newest sponsor, Keen. What is Keen, you ask? I cannot wait to tell you. Keen is the leading provider of online psychic readings. With more than 35 million successful sessions under their belt, Keen is one of the most trusted providers in the space. I'm talking about tarot readings. I'm talking about love life readings. I'm talking about astrology readings. And yes, I'm talking about chakra cleansings and many more areas of expertise. Go to trykeen.com/thoseguys and get your first 5 minutes of any reading for only $1. What? The world is made up of things we don't understand, of things we can't see or touch, so expand your horizons while supporting those guys you hate.
Those guys
Hugging other people's mail and licking people's steering wheels.
you hate.
Are you one of those people who goes down and starts licking doorknobs and
I'm
stuff?
a doorknob licker.
Ooh.
Come and get me, Uncle Sam.
Those guys you hate.
And we are back for our final time.
Hello, hello.
And finally, Ryan,
Yo,
for our last one of the day, we're talking about KFC. Are you a fan of KFC at all?
I do not like KFC. I think that it is bad chicken. I don't prefer the taste.
Agreed. Unless you want to advertise with this KFC, then
And I
we
love
will-
it.
Then we will love you.
I will lick all the fingers.
They too wanted to advertise in China.
I think KFC is huge in
Huge in China.
Yeah,
it's huge.
It's like McDonald's.
By the 1990s, it accounted for over 40% of all fast food sales in China.
So crazy.
Which is insane.
It's a monopoly.
Oh, yeah. Now, the slogan, which originated in 1956 and still the slogan to this day,
Finger licking good.
finger licking good. In China, finger licking good, KFC, your guess, Ryan.
Okay. China, the fingers have a cultural significance that we are unaware of in America.
No.
Okay.
In China, when first introduced in the 80s, was mistranslated to, quote, eat your fingers off.
Like Jameis Winston.
Just eat your fingers off. I'm going to eat your fingers.
It sounds like it worked. It sounds like they accidentally stumbled on something. If you're doing 40% of the sales, I mean, we're going to have to go to wrists next.
That's true. But I couldn't find an answer.
You guys are weird.
I wasn't sure if this meant it was so good you would eat your own fingers off or at KFC, we're going to eat your fingers off.
Great question. KFC, predominantly fingers that you're eating.
Or is the chicken fingers?
Chicken fingers, that's it.
I don't know. I don't know which one it was.
I've never seen a chicken finger.
Ryan, let's do a week in review and then we can get out of here.
I got 3.
Okay, perfect. Week in review, just where we go back from the last couple shows and we pick things that we either got wrong or want to point out, and we correct them and call each other out. It's a good time. Ryan, you go first.
Tyler, on one of these shows at some point, I referenced the town that confronted their bully and killed them. Did I look this up?
Oh, yes, Daddy.
The town was Skidmore, Missouri. Have you ever heard of this, Tyler?
No. I mean, Missouri is about as far as I get with things I've heard of.
So the guy's name, his last name was Mick Elroy, and he had a long history of run-ins with the law, including charges of assault, arson, burglary, and statutory rape. Okay, he was just a public nuisance, and he evaded consequences by just intimidating witnesses and would just go to people and be like, if you go and tell, I will kill you. And it worked for years and years and years, and the town got sick of it.
Yeah.
July 10th, 1981, Mick Elroy was shot to death in broad daylight in the main street. So, like 50 people dragged this guy out of a bar. They all lined up. This guy was, Denzel Washington in Training Day, like, I'm King Kong. Somebody shot him of the 50 people. Nobody to this day has ever said a word.
Interesting.
They never prosecuted anyone because not a single person served as a witness.
Yeah, I bet you they were doing an investigation years later, and they're like, well, no one will answer, but for some reason, they erected a statue of Larry over here for whatever reason. He's holding a gun.
It's a smoking gun. What do you think that means? Yeah, so I think, what's your thoughts on that? Ethically, morally, what's your take?
It's, my belief is, and you know me, I've said it many times, I don't believe in the death penalty, but I also understand that if you push people far enough, they're going to defend themselves. And especially if he's going around telling people that I'm going to continue to terrorize your lives, and if you try to do anything, I'll kill you.
Yep.
You're kind of defending your own life there.
And he had done it. He had shot people. He had and he was terrorizing the town.
Yeah.
It's a truly terrible story.
It's one of those things where I don't agree with the death penalty, but I understand.
Okay, you know what? Fuck it. I did it. It was me.
It's a statue of Ryan. Ryan, you know what? I'm going to do an easy one here. Ryan, this is actually a homework assignment for you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, homework assignment for you, and I think it'll help you to grow a little bit.
I'm definitely good. I'm all booked this week.
I'm booked for growth as far as I can tell. You and I spoke on session 25, our conspiracy theory episode.
Where is this coming from?
Which we talked about it last week.
I don't remember that session ever happening.
It's a conspiracy.
I've heard a lot of people mention it, but I've never seen it myself.
It's a conspiracy theory episode. It is Ryan's least favorite episode by far, and I challenge you to go back and listen to it. It's not the best episode.
No.
It's not the best episode we've ever done, but I think you'll be surprised at how not terrible it is.
We're pretty drunk?
Yeah, we're a little drunk.
Okay.
We're a little tipsy.
We're a lot drunk.
We're a little tipsy.
Okay, and I think that is, I will do it.
Sure.
I will go back and I will listen to session 25 that may or may not exist. I just think that serves as a really interesting kind of metaphor for how mean I could be to myself, where I deem things that I do to be not good enough.
And instead of taking that as that's who you are, take it as look at how far I've come since then.
Nah. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I will listen to it. I promise.
All right.
Tyler, last week on one of these shows, I casually mentioned the story of the guy who invented a water-powered car that mysteriously died. Do I just mention these things and not know anything?
Yes.
Oh, yes, Daddy.
His name was Stephen Meyer. Invented a device known as the water fuel cell that could power a car using water as fuel instead of gasoline. What's your thoughts on that? It sounds like science fiction.
I like the alternative to fuel thing, although water is a bit tough unless it's salt water because clean water fresh water we need that to survive, and there's less of it every year.
Oh, okay.
So if every car was to start running on it, that would be an even higher strain on this very
Interesting.
important resource.
Well, apparently it was splitting water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen gases. I assume that would still work with seawater, wouldn't it?
But it would depend on.
Do we know?
It would depend on what the salt would do to the engine.
Meyer died under mysterious circumstances on March 20th, 1998, while dining at a restaurant. According to reports, he ran out of the restaurant, clutching his throat, and died shortly thereafter.
Wow.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, those fuckers did it.
Listen, People have been killed right in front of us for much less. So, that's an interesting idea. Now, maybe this guy was just a kook and he choked on a peanut or something and that's it. Or maybe there's something to all this. Who knows what we don't know?
Ryan, last week we asked the question, is there an exception to Rule 34? Is there?
No.
I don't think so. I mean, to get a yes.
What is Rule 34?
Oh, Rule 34 is if it exists, there is porn made after it. Now, I typed in random stuff into my internet
Give me an example.
browser and then just typed in Rule 34 afterwards. Sidewalk, plenty.
So that's people just having sex on a sidewalk?
Yeah, or just walking down a sidewalk
Yeah.
with their pants down, but there is a sidewalk, and it was the sidewalk was in the name. That's what I'm going by.
Okay, I'll take that. But, Rule 34, it's not somebody dressed as a sidewalk?
No, I didn't find that, unfortunately.
Huh, interesting.
Weed, as in marijuana.
Oh, I mean.
As I said, I just typed in random stuff.
Sure.
Computer, plenty. Not only in front of a computer, but banging a computer.
Really?
Really?
Now that's Rule 34 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And finally, washing machine. Not only is the internet replete
That's a big
with
thing
the
right
idea of people getting stuck in a washing machine.
And why is it always my stepsister?
First of all, I'm not even turned on by this. I'm just wondering how you could be such an idiot to get stuck in a washing machine.
Yeah.
But honestly, the only one I couldn't find is of people actually banging said washing machine. It was just a bunch of people banging people in a washing machine.
Okay, but you want somebody to actually be putting their penis inside of a mechanical washing machine.
Exactly.
No, that's not Rule 34.
I did find a photo of two washing machines fucking each other.
I've seen a video of safe sex.
Two safes fucking each other?
that's a good gag. But see, when I think of Rule 34, I think of Avatar, The Last Airbender. Two people dressed up as characters from that. I always think of it as being like a creative thing that people are dressing up as, not like are two people having sex on a sidewalk.
No, but Rule 34 is if it exists, there is porn made after it.
Okay.
It is a
All right.
universal thing.
I always thought of it as like cosplay.
No, there's just a lot of that.
Okay, fair enough. And finally, Tyler, I asked, is there a correlation? No, I said, is there a connection between poverty versus religion? Now, the answer is no, because you can't prove it, but I'm going to say.
Oh, yes, Daddy.
Always way too loud, that thing. I would say there's an obvious correlation there, right? What's your take on poverty and its connection to religion?
Yeah, when you're down on your luck like that and you have nowhere else to turn, then it stands to reason that religion would become a big part of your life because you need something,
Like a coping mechanism.
but not just that, but just incorporeal, like something that is, out there that you can hope for. I don't know about coping necessarily, but hope I think is the proper word.
Hope rhymes with cope.
Yes, it does.
We're coming to the end of the show.
Yes,
here.
we are.
No, isn't hope a form of coping? Once you lose hope, there's nothing to even try for.
I'll have to come back to you on another week in review about that.
This is an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. You kind of stumped me on that one. I'll give it some genuine thought and come back to it.
And of course, there is social support for those living in poverty that is connected to religion. Now, is that out of genuine care? Is that out of hooking them while they're young? I guess that would be different in different circumstances, but I believe that there is an inextricable link between poverty and religion. It's obviously a very nuanced conversation.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean,
I believe so.
To go to that last point you made, religion is about literally as ubiquitous as you can get. Religion is all over the world.
I think it's baked into who we are.
Of course, in our DNA. We
Yeah.
need something to believe in. I think because there's so much of it, yes, that you have like the mega churches and these people who make millions and spend it on these multi-million-dollar homes, which is total hypocrisy and horseshit. But then you also have the neighborhood churches, which really do a lot of good for their neighborhoods.
Can't you be one of these mega churches and live in a beautiful home and also take care of people?
Aren't you can, but aren't you kind of going against the teachings of God? At the very least, Christianity and Catholicism, which, while I don't know very much, is the stuff that I know the most of. And it specifically states that to excess is basically a sin, is it not?
I'm probably not the exact right person to answer that, but
Aren't you reading the Bible, man?
But not. I spit. Not for information.
Then what are you reading it for?
Just to say that I did it, Tyler.
Stature, baby.
And the fact of the matter is, it's very dense. It's hard to really take in that information as you're reading it. Very often I have to go back and reread things. But the idea is, I'm like what you just said, I find it to be so interesting. So poverty leads you to religion. Wouldn't it stand to reason that having everything that you need and succeeding for yourself in every step of the, your circumstances, wouldn't that in some ways be very human to lead you away from religion, becoming your own God in essence?
Yeah, I would say so, especially within our own society, the way that the way we raise up these people who have a lot of money as if they're better than us, when a lot of times it's, they got lucky in certain ways. A lot of the wealthy people in our own society, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, Bezos, they're all three of those people that I just mentioned, their parents were insanely wealthy already.
100%.
They didn't like pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They were hooked up.
And even people that do pull themselves up by their proverbial bootstraps, very often they're just good at that one thing. That doesn't make them great people.
Correct.
If you're, really fast when you run, it doesn't make you a great person. And if you're really great at making money, it doesn't make you a great person.
Without a doubt. And finally, Ryan, to put this to bed, integral or integral? Did I find the answer?
Oh, yes, Daddy.
Still loud.
Yeah, pretty loud. You control that, right?
Tyler, get on with it.
It's actually both.
There you go. How about that?
On Google, when they write it out phonetically, they give you both options, integral or integral.
There you go.
Yeah.
Was I wrong?
No.
Were you wrong?
No.
Say we're both right.
Is Ruby Rod a terrible character?
No.
One of the greats, in my opinion.
For anybody who doesn't know who that is, that's Chris Tucker from The Fifth Element. If you have not seen it, shut this off and it's over anyway.
Yeah.
But listen to the end of it, shut it off, go watch it.
When you watch that movie, keep in mind that Chris Tucker's role was originally meant for Prince, and you'll understand his very flamboyant costumes that he wears.
Is that true?
That's true.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
That is, I could definitely see it, but I also don't think, no offense, that Prince could have done it.
No.
Chris Tucker, that's an all-time,
Mwah.
that's an all-timer.
Italian kiss.
Ruby Rod.
Yeah. That's it for me, Week in Review. Is that it for you,
That's
Week
it
in
for me,
Review?
baby.
Beautiful. Give me the ding ding for Week in Review. That is our show for this week. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd like to get in touch with us, if you'd like to see us, if you'd like to interact with us, go to THOSEGUYSYOUHATE.com. You'll find all of our links. You can go to TikTok at THOSEGUYSYOUHATE, or on Instagram or YouTube, go to @THOSEGUYS_YouHate.
Love it.
Ryan, what is the moral of the story?
I think very often it's people that are out there, people that are strange, that change the world. And don't be so quick to dismiss somebody who says something that you're not totally familiar with. I think there are a lot of people out there that have a lot to teach us. And I think that it's up to us that go through and find what works for us and what doesn't. I think this society, this culture, us just as a species would be better if we were more tolerant of things that we didn't understand.
Well said.
What's the moral of the story, Tyler?
I will stick with one of my weekend reviews, which is for all the creatives out there that can be really hard on themselves. I challenge you to go back and look at some of your earlier work. I bet you it is not as bad as you assume it is right now.
I love
Go
that.
read some of those old stories. Go look at some of those old paintings. I bet you it's not as bad. And keep in mind, you get to use it as a reference point of look how far I've come.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you know where else I think people see that a lot is where perhaps whatever your mental image is of yourself, very often you look back at pictures a couple years later and you're like, damn, I look great there.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I appreciate that while I was having it?
Oh, yeah.
Do that in your creative life as well. You deserve it.
Yeah, not right now. 2 years ago, Tyler, I looked great. Right now, terrible.
I think
In
you
2
look
years,
great, Tyler.
Hey, I was just making a joke, but I appreciate it.
That got weird.
Ryan, thank you so much for this week. We are those guys you hate.
Love you guys. Be kind or we'll kill you.
Red circle.
How are you?
I've been better, but I'm doing okay. How are you?
What's going on? Talk to me. Between you and me, this stays secret between us.
Sure, and our millions of listeners.
Sure. Hi guys, we're trusting you.
Just having a rough week. I noticed, and I could do this during Depression Index. I just noticed the more I learn about myself, like in my insecurities, I don't feel like I'm getting less insecure. I just feel like I'm noticing them more. So I feel more insecure than I've ever been in my entire life right now. And it really fucking sucks. Really fucking sucks.
I think that's really interesting in terms of the idea of that insecurity. My idea on that is that insecurity has always been there and you've just used different things to avoid it.
Yeah.
So now taking notice of it can be very painful. It's very hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's something I've noticed for a long time and I've been working on it for a long time, but it just feels like my, what do you call it? My
defense mechanisms.
Well, that too, but my tolerance for these things is waning and I'm just becoming riddled with this feeling. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
My question is, I think that the things that you're trying to get out of your life that are side effects of trying to deal with these things are being stripped away. So you're being left with the issue. As I try,
I'm going to go back.
As I try to venture out of narcissism, I am left with the insecurity that drove me into narcissism.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Yeah.
I understand little itty bitty Ryan, running from it and creating a character.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan.
Okay.
So
Well,
I don't know.
I'm rooting for you.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Do you think partying has anything to do with it?
I mean, it certainly doesn't help, but these are inherent insecurities that I've had since childhood. So,
For sure.
So these are things that have been festering for, 30 years, 25 years.
But I think before we venture into the comedy, because this is not funny to anyone, including the two people who are saying it
At all.
it's having your body prepared for when this eventually happens, having the strength to fight back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 So
It's going to look different at different times in our lives.
remember that joke that I told you that one time that you loved?
That shit was hilarious,
Yeah.
man.
I wish
That
I
shit
could
was
remember what it was.
hilarious.
Speaking of which, Tyler, I've been going to therapy.
For whatever reason, I was expecting the Dateline sounder.
I can do that.
Yeah, because that was your exact setup for when you've been listening to Dateline.
Please forgive me, and you're actually right. Tyler, I've been going to therapy. That definitely makes it feel more approachable, more manageable.
Yeah.
So I've been going to therapy. I've gone twice through BetterHelp, our sponsor.
Yep.
It has been nice. It has been uplifting. And I'm relatively new to this. I've gone to therapy a bunch of my life, but I think if you add it all up, I am winning right now. I believe.
That's great.
Sure.
I might challenge the thinking about it in the context of winning or losing.
Oh, so you think she's winning? She's gotten to you?
It's not out there.
She's gotten to you?
She did pay me a little bit.
She doesn't fucking know. She doesn't know.
And I don't think we would be doing.
I'm therapizing her.
I don't think we would be therapizing. I don't, first of all, no. Second of all, I don't think we would be doing our jobs correctly unless we said, make sure you go to betterhelp.com/thoseguys for 10% off your first month of therapy.
You're not going to beat them the way that I'm beating them, but you could try. That's cute. That's cute. I
Therapy's
appreciate
not about
that.
winning or losing.
No, it has actually been very enjoyable, and I bring that up because it is something that has resonated with me because I, much like on this show, much like while doing the yoga teaching, much like while talking to a random person in my life, my struggle and my journey, and to some degree, I feel kind of like what you were just talking about, is trying to find and access authenticity. I go into character mode so often. I go into, hey, look over here. Authenticity takes all of my attention. I have to really focus and know what that is.
Yeah.
And so that in and of itself has been an interesting journey. And I'm beating you, bitch. So
What is this show about?
it's about beating Dr. Paula at her own game.
Oh, we're calling her out by name now.
She's doing very nice. She's doing great. I really,
Calling her out by
I
name.
really appreciate her. Here's what I have, Tyler. I have a multiple choice question that is just fun. It's just a little fun thing that I believe is truly historically accurate, or I have a serious topic. So you choose. I feel like we've had some serious topics here already. Except for that beating my therapist thing.
Yeah, that
which
was
is very serious.
totally serious, but meant to be laughed at as well.
Everybody gets my joke.
Yeah.
They know I don't mean it.
Yeah.
So which do you choose?
Oh, there's no question.
Multiple choice or how I feel like you've always been here for my crazy, but I feel like I recently pushed you too far.
I'll go with the second one. I want to hear you apologize.
Oh, no. I honestly...
I didn't think it was part of it. I just wanted to throw that in there.
I will tell you what it is, but I think you owe me an apology.
Oh. Well, then let's do the first one then.
I used the term in a car that was locked, and it was just the two of us driving down the highway, generational trauma. And I saw even your eyes bug out a little bit, and you're like, I don't know, man. That's a pretty tough one.
Yeah.
So you just really just kind of threw your gloves in there. You want to expand on that?
It was a wet blanket that you put on my shoulders, and I just...
It's a thick boy.
Yeah.
I understand, but I mean what I'm saying.
I know you mean it, and you bring it up quite a bit, and I've run out of...
I want you to believe it too.
I've run out of responses for you. I want to be a good brother. I want to be a good shoulder that you can not cry on, but speak directly into. And
blow my nose if necessary.
And it's a point that you keep bringing up, and I appreciate it, and I know you believe it, but at the same time, I've run out of things to say. I'm on a loop now.
I need for you to tether me to this world and let me know that I'm okay. That's what I'm asking you.
You're a bird. Fly free. Fly free, bird.
Okay. I'm just saying generational trauma, trauma, not letting go of our pain and then building over it.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
If you're going to be that way. All right, let's do this multiple choice question. Are you ready, Tyler? I don't have any sort of noise for it. So are you ready for this multiple choice question?
Let's do it.
How did people show their king loyalty in ancient Ireland? Okay. I am going to give you 3 choices.
Okay.
And you tell me how subjects showed their loyalty to their king in ancient Ireland. Now, I'm going to give you the 3 choices very fast because I think sometimes when I give you the multiple choices, I'm tipping my hand. So I'm going to give them to you very fast, okay?
Okay.
Did you show your king loyalty in ancient Ireland by A, having to wipe his bum, B, having to suck his nipples, or C, having to eat his hair?
I'm going to guess C, eat his hair.
Eat his hair?
Yeah.
Is that true?
I'm just hoping it's not the wipe his butt thing. That wouldn't be cool.
Judges? No.
Is it suck his nipple?
Suck his nipples.
I'd probably
Tyler.
prefer to suck a nipple than eat somebody's hair. Even an old fat king.
Eating somebody's hair would be tough.
Yeah.
If you get like one hair in your mouth, it can be often you got to stop everything you're doing and really focus on getting rid of it.
Well, I'm a big consistency man, and I don't like the consistency of hair with a nipple. First of all, something I've tasted before. Second of all, God forbid you come away with it being a little salty. It's okay. You just move on with your day, take a sip of grog, you're good to go.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Follow-up question. This is a king. This is ancient Ireland. That's probably a hairy nipple. There's a good chance you get a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
I honestly didn't consider that. Yeah.
And then you feel a shillelagh poking out underneath. St. Patrick mentions in his Confessio that when he fled Ireland, he was offered passage on a boat by some sailors, but he refused to suck their nipples.
Oh,
Tyler.
he didn't bend the knee, as it were.
Didn't bend the knee.
To suck the nipple.
Didn't tweak the tit. What do you, in dirty talk, what do you call breasts?
Tits.
Tits. You go tits there.
Yeah.
You're not a titty guy?
Yeah. No, definitely not a titty. Because when I'm talking about, I don't want one to feel excluded. So when I say it, I say tits. I say plural. I don't want to talk about one titty because then the other one will become upset.
You could say titties.
No, I cannot.
Sure you can.
No, not
Titty
like that.
time.
Titties. No.
All right. I'm trying to think of another word that's commonly used for breasts. All I'm coming up with is...
So a lady's bust.
Oh, boobs?
Boobs is one.
Yeah, but that's not sexy. You can't use that in romance.
No, but I mean, that's the whole point of the conversation.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else.
Boobies? A sister with titties?
But you sound like a 6-year-old talking about boobs for the first time.
That's the first thing. That's the first porn ever Googled, I think, in someone's life is boobies, right?
Let me get them nips.
Nips. That's it. That's fine. All right. Well, we've answered all the questions that need answering.
Yeah.
I think that we should go ahead and move on to the show.
Sounds good.
Titties.